control. Man, that looks great.
J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets! Woo!
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. 78 degrees, Jets football, and we're winning. That's what's going on today. That's why everybody's so psyched. This isn't no happenstance. This is a guarantee, just like Joe Namath said. See that?
There are few things in life you cannot put a price on. Loyalty, tradition, fierce passion. Today is a gigantic family reunion because finally, they're back.
Well, good morning, everybody. Here we are again. This is GreenBean. Welcome to Good Morning Jets. What day is today? It's a Wednesday. It's a 9 a.m. It's a 2023. And we don't have an offensive coordinator or quarterback. And that's what we're here to discuss today. Good morning, everybody. I want to let you know I had to wake up extra early today, which I forgot to do. So I woke up a little late, which made my morning a panic. You know, when you go, oh shit, and you forget the thing. That's how I woke up today. Had to drive my car to the auto center, my wife's car, that is, because I'm a chivalrous guy. I let her take the good car. I took the car having issues, brought it to Max Auto Center to pick up a loaner. Now I'm driving around a loaner, which is I think it's a 1998 Honda Civic. So I don't know if you guys have driven 1998 cars recently. You forget. Number one, I'm used to a backup camera. I had to do the old thing where you hug the seat, do the thing. Remember that? I had to do that. And then there's no windshield on the wiper on the back, so I had to put the defroster on and wait till it like melted. You know what I mean? It's like I couldn't see out of the back window for 5 minutes. You forget about this stuff, man. You totally forget about it. It's a funny thing, man. So here I am. I'm back. I got here a few minutes ago, and I'm ready to talk Jets with you. Let us say good morning to a few fellas. I saw that Twisted was in here nice and early. He's saying hello, along with Dakota. Dakota J's in here. He wants a little quarterback action. I'm with you there. Big Green's been here every day. Good to see you, Big Green. Philip Bogachuk is in here. He and Twisted, we're having a little conversation this morning. It's nice to see. Philip always sending the love. You know, you got to love Bogachuk. Matthias Simon wants news. Don't forget, Matthias Simon, the owner-operator of the Greenhouse on Facebook. A very, very good friend of mine for a very, very long time. I've known that guy. Walt's in the house. Perpetually changing your name, Walt. But I'm glad that you keep the Walt now. For a while, he wasn't. If it wasn't for like the Calvin and Hobbes symbol, I wouldn't have known it was you for a while. But guys, Mike Saunders is here. Our buddy from the UK, Phil Adams, is here. Jennifer Slattery, I feel like I've been with you all day, all night the past week, right? We were together till like 10:30 last night, and now here we are again early in the morning. One thing I can say about Jennifer Slattery is that she wants Lamar Jackson. That is her plight. That is her mantle right now. So let's talk about it. Jay-Z's here. Hey, Wicker Media's here. Wat2K is here. He's heading to the doctor. Well, let's all hope Wat2K, whatever ails you, buddy, I hope it's taken care of right quick. I hope it's nothing serious. Hope you get fantastic news at the doctor's office. Green and White Militia's here. And let's go ahead and start this one. Now, there was an interesting thing that came out last night. It actually came out while we were doing the Talking Jets panel on Jets Talk 24/7 with good buddies, Ryan and Matt O'Leary, the two best, in my opinion. Those guys, I'm fortunate to be among them. I'm perpetually inspired to be better hanging out with those guys. Not that I achieve it, but I'm inspired to. I'm reminded that I need to be better. I don't know how much I do. But anyway, we were talking about it, and this interesting thing came out in the chat. And I asked people, is that real? Is that real? and people couldn't figure out if it was real or not. Then I saw my good buddy Harry in the Beanbagger Discord this morning posted it as well. And another beanbagger, Finnegan, said that no, it was not real. But we're going to take a look at this tweet here that came out last night. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but you can see here. I'll make it a little bit bigger if I can for you. Let me see if I can do that. Can I make that bigger? Did that work? All right. So the tweet was from Lamar Jackson's blue checked account to one Big Ticket. If you don't know who Big Ticket is, that is Mekhi Becton's Twitter account, Big Ticket. So Lamar reached out to Big Ticket real quick and said, "You ready?" And then deleted the tweet. So that was what made it more ominous, right? Is that the tweet was deleted. So people freaked out, dude, and rightfully so. I mean, if that happened, it would lead you to believe there was some logs on the fire, right? So that's what you want to explore certain things that look like things are heating up. Now, we did learn, guys. I see Hepburn in here. There he is. There's O'Leary. Yeah, you know what I mean, buddy. You know how I look up to you guys. So the thing is, we found out that this tweet was photoshopped. So people got really excited. I mean, I had one DM. I had I won on each of Twitter and Instagram. So 2 DMs really. And I had obviously I just told you in the Beanbagger Discord, this was there. So it made its rounds, man. And what we learned was that this was actually photoshopped. And what a bad thing that these people do. You know what I mean? Like, how come we can't just, like, you can't even believe a blue check anymore. It's like the blue check is there. It's supposed to be there to confirm this is legit. And no, we just cut it out and put it with a Photoshop thing. You can do anything anymore. So, guys, I'm sorry to tell you, Jennifer Slattery in particular, because in my brain, she's out front of the Lamar side right now. That's just how I view it. Jennifer Slattery and crew. That's what it is. She's the boss. She's the Joan of Arc of the Lamar to the Jets side of things. So Jennifer and your friends, I'm sorry to say that this tweet was in fact photoshopped. So it would be a big one though, wouldn't it? That would be some really interesting news. Now Jennifer's talking about RG3 sticking up for Lamar. Well, let's not forget, they had a brief moment to play together, right? RG3 was Lamar's backup quarterback for a moment there. And what a perfect a perfect reserve that looked like. I mean, RG3, dude, let me just remind everybody that he was the guy that, number one, that was the suck for luck draft, right? So that was the 1 year the Indianapolis Colts had a dozen years of Peyton Manning, top of the heap, awesome play, him and Brady, the battles. They had a Super Bowl win, a Super Bowl. So they had all this greatness. Then they have one bad year. And it just so happens to be the year that Andrew Luck is coming out, right? The suck for luck. Arguably the best prospect since Peyton Manning. They get to do it. So they decide to move on from Peyton Manning and grab Andrew Luck. Meanwhile, right after that, there was another quarterback in that draft. His name was RG3. Now, the Redskins gave up 2 firsts. The Redskins at the time. These were, I believe it was the Shanahan Redskins, if I remember correctly, right? I think it was Shanahan over there. They gave up numerous firsts, numerous thirds and seconds and all kinds of fun stuff to jump up to the 2nd overall pick to grab RG3. And let me just tell you, if you guys don't remember, RG3, when he came out of the gate, looked every bit like the steal of the draft. Even though they traded up and gave he looked so good. He looked like he was going to be unstoppable in the NFL. Extremely exciting. Looked like he might even be the better of the 2 quarterbacks. Now, as exciting as he was, guys, what happened? Jennifer, you're funny. What happened, guys, was what happens to many run-heavy quarterbacks. Now, I wouldn't say RG3 was run first. Like, I think Justin Fields is a run first. RG3 wasn't a run first. He was a running quarterback, right? So Lamar is right. I think Lamar can safely be put as a running quarterback, but not a run first. He does look to throw, and he's got a super strong arm and all that stuff. But RG3 was the same way. But what happened was he got injured, and then when he came back, he got injured again. And it's this incredibly promising career ended up sliding down the tubes, guys. He ended up being somewhat of a journeyman. The Cleveland Browns grabbed him, and they were like, hey, man, we're going to give this guy a chance to be our starter. We're going to give him another shot to be a starting quarterback in the NFL in a very, very short period of time. I forget how many weeks, but he was not the guy. I think he got hurt again. So this is the concern that a lot of people have. Now, RG3 has been, like Jennifer said, has been supporting Lamar, and I think that's great. Look, man, I don't think too many people have a negative thing to say about Lamar, his work ethic, his ability, his team, his camaraderie with the team. None of that's in question. The only things that are in question are his ability to stay healthy and whether or not 50 million and 3 firsts is worth it for him if he can't play. That's the concern, right? I don't think anybody would be upset with that level of talent coming over here. But RG3 is a pretty good guy to look at. And then you look at guys like Dante Culpepper. He had injuries, and he was not a run-first quarterback, running. And the thing is, I was talking to somebody just the other day, a very, very educated historian type of football fan, and he said there's never been, maybe one running quarterback that's ever won at all. And that's something to, now granted, there's less of them, right? They're increasing as the years go on, but still to this day, it's not really it's not the way that it happens to get you to the promised land. Now you can say Mahomes, right? Mahomes, he's a running quarterback. Mahomes is not a run first quarterback, right? And you want to make sure that distinction is applied, which is why Justin Fields, people are talking about trading for him. I don't know, man. And he's got the arm and he can do it, but he's a run first. He looks to run. As soon as his first read is not there, he takes off. And he did that all through college. It was one of the concerns that we had. So anyway, it's good to see Lamar. Lamar supported by a guy like RG3 who's been through it, but it doesn't take away the fact that he has missed 5 games the last 2 years, guys. That's not a good look. In addition, and we're going to take a second and look at his numbers, say hello to a few more people. I want to just remind everybody that Jets Forever did wake up today and is just as ridiculous as he was yesterday. Thank you. Good morning, Jets Forever. I love your consistency. Zach is not better than Lamar. Jimmy is here. Good morning to Jimmy. J-Man Hop is here. Andrew Schnatter. I like it. Yeah. Towley Elijah Moore was already complaining about targets. So why would we get Lamar? The wide receivers he has had in the past have complained about not getting. Well, only one really, right? It was only Hollywood Brown. Now Hollywood Brown, he's a diva. He's one of those guys, so I don't know. I don't think the other guys, at least I didn't hear about it. But I don't know. I think Elijah Moore, he just wants some targets. He's not complaining not getting the ball enough. He was complaining about not getting the ball at all. You know what I mean? He's running around, but he wasn't getting the ball at all. Now, I don't defend what Elijah Moore said and did. I can't stand it, especially the timing of it. He was the beginning of the erosion, right? Now, we didn't start losing right then, but that was like the beginning of any negatives coming into this incredibly positive season. That said, how can we not find him? Like, what is that? Right. And I think Lamar, he's got a better ability to find his receivers. Let's see. Who else is here? Bewizzle Aquatics is here. Hello. Duncan is here. R&R is here. We need a quarterback to use our weapons, not be our weapon. Now, that's an interesting point. And that's kind of what people say when they are concerned about the running quarterback. That said, man, if you have a good team, you have, the right character, which the Jets have placed a high focus on the character these past 2 years. Outside of the little blurb with Elijah Moore, what have we seen, man? They've been hardworking, nose to the grindstone, very positive guys, for the most part. But you look at, if you have Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Michael Carter, Breece Hall. You have those guys, and Lamar Jackson runs for 80 yards a game. I don't think that's too much of an issue as far as just that end goes. Gary B checking in. Good morning, and thank you for the super chat. And Green Bean in the AM. Good way. Oh, coffee and Green Bean. It's hard. It's hard for me to see, buddy. I don't have my glasses in here today. I think I have a pair. I have glasses somewhere. Hold on. Let me see. There we go. You know, like when you start wearing glasses, which is new to me, you stash glasses all over the place. These aren't my real glasses, but hey, how you doing? There it is, coffee cup. And well, Gary, I'm happy to start the day with you, my friend, and I appreciate that. Let's see here to Gitmo Bob, our good buddy. What's up, Bob? To bring in a quarterback who hasn't won anything, who doesn't get paid, a big no on Lamar for me. Well, here's the thing. There's no quarterback out there outside of Aaron Rodgers that we're considering, or that's even in the discussion, that's won anything. I mean, he's the only one, right? So there's that. But I hear you. I mean, I think the problem for me with Lamar is the injuries and the price. You know what I mean? Now, look, if his injury, everything being the same, and he was going to cost $30 million, you know what I mean? Okay, that's a different story, man. $50 million hamstrings you. It really does. But like Jennifer Slattery brought up last night, we do have a window. We have a window where we happen to have all of our skill guys are on their rookie contracts. You know, Garrett Wilson's here for 4 more years. If you know, with his 5th year option, Breece Hall's here for 3 more years. Elijah Moore's here for 2 more years. Mims is here for another. We have him for another solid season. So we have a lot of Michael Carter, 2 more years or 2 more years. You know what I mean? Bam Knight, 3 more years. So it's like we have all these guys on cheap rookie contracts. So you can justify that other, you know, paying the money on that side. I don't know how accurate that is, you know, as far as what you can do, but $50 million is a lot. $50 million is a lot. So let's take a look at this other thing that happened. Now, look, I'll just check and see how you guys are talking about the Lamar thing here, and we're going to move on to a prospected trade by the 33rd team. Pretty interesting that it came out. JD got a plan for every quarterback option. Rodgers deal the most difficult to land. You know what? I think JD does have a plan. Now, whether or not those plans, I mean, you know, it takes 2 to tango, right? He could have a plan all day, but if the other side doesn't want to do it, that's going to be a problem. The thing is, I think our general manager, one thing you can you can tag him with is he has plans. Like he seems layers deep. You know what I mean? As far as contingencies and all that kind of stuff. I think he's a pretty thorough guy, man. That's the impression I've got. Jets Forever says we're not a quarterback away. I think that's honest to God. While we can obviously get our guys back on the offensive line, I think we are a quarterback away. We're a quarterback away from being, even last year, even with all the injuries that we had, everything's the same. No Breece, no AVT. If everything was the same. And Jets Forever, I would really love it if you actually sat down and watched some All 22 and then we talked about it, because you'll see it, man. If we had a quarterback that was average and could just hit the open guys, we would have been in the playoffs without question. So we are a quarterback away. Let's see. G to the Emma F&B. What's up, Paulie? You're not late, buddy. I started a little early. Let's see here. Okay, so we're going to talk to, we're going to look at this other thing here. Now, I want to show you guys this. Now, you're going to see it, right? We call this speculation season. Now, I've been telling you guys for quite a few years now. This is, I think, my 4th year, if I include the Jetnation stuff, of being with you guys, 4th or 5th for the draft, right? So I've been talking to you guys about rumor season and the draft online on YouTube for this is probably my 4th or 5th year. Every year I try to impress upon everybody that it's very important for our emotional well-being, our mental health, that we don't bite onto every single rumor. Okay? Every single rumor. It's hard not to, though. So you have to consider this stuff. So you look at it, you don't, attach emotional, reaction to everything. But at the same time, you got to look and see what is out there. What are these ideas? So this is an interesting one that I thought was worth discussing. Now, it says that the New York Jets are going to trade up with the Eagles, who interestingly have the 10th overall pick from their New Orleans trade of the Eagles did a pretty good job the last couple of years. So that says that the Jets would focus on tackle, and they want to jump ahead Tennessee, as it says here. The Jets move up ahead of Tennessee to ensure that they get the best pass protecting left tackle in this draft. Now, it's an interesting thing. Now, Paris Johnson is, at least as far as right now, is considered the front runner to be the best tackle in the draft. Now, there's a lot of offseason stuff people have to dissect, and we got to look at this, we got to look at that, we got the combine, we have all sorts of stuff to still take a look at. And as you guys know, there's movement up and down the boards, and some guys that are up top right now, by the time draft comes, they'll be third round picks. And sometimes there are guys right now that nobody's talking about, like a Zach Wilson during his draft year. Right around now, he was considered the fourth guy after, Lawrence, Fields, Lance, and then Zach Wilson was considered maybe a late first at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see. But what do you guys think of that? Would that make you happy? Well, now let me just comment. Snoopy, of course, anybody can get injured, but we're looking at history. Carr has played 9 years and has missed 2 games in 9 years. Conversely, Lamar has played 4 years and has missed 10 games in the last 2. So it's different, guys. It's different. You know what I mean? It's a different thing. Anybody can get injured, of course, but there's likelihoods, right? Yeah, look, nobody can predict the future. You have to base it on what you have. You have certain information. It's like taking an injury-prone guy. Let's draft D. Milliner. Even though he's been injured for most of his college career, we're gonna bet on that's in his past, and we're just gonna hope for the best. Now, is that a smart bet? I mean, he could stay healthy, sure. Anybody can get injured, of course. But there are guys that, up to the point where you're considering adding them, have injuries. And are they consistent? People are calling Lamar's injuries fluky. I don't know. That's the concern with the running quarterback. So it happened in the pocket, great. But would they have gotten hurt? Would he have gotten hurt in the pocket if he wasn't taking all the hits the rest of the year? Who knows? But the concern with the running quarterback is that they're going to get hurt, that they don't last as long. That's the concern. The fact that he has been injured the last 2 years, like, think about it. His team was in the playoffs. He's not there. So what does that mean? So you can say what you want, but the truth is he is injured, and Derek Carr, conversely, is not. He's made 2 injuries in 9 years, man. The one thing you can say about him is that he's durable, and he's been sacked. He's had terrible offensive lines and everything. Craig Safola, and then we're going to talk about this trade. I want to see what you guys think of this and whether or not offensive tackle is really the way to go, guys. Is this what we really want to do with Becton coming back and everything else? Craig Safola says, any interest in Joe Lombardi? Just got fired. The Chargers general manager. Well, here's what I'll say. The Chargers are interesting because you know how the Jets, like, we have our plight, right? Our plight is that we struggle to find offense. We've had some of the better defenses in the NFL over the past 20 years. But offense has always been our little bugaboo. And then even refining it down further, quarterback has been our bugaboo. I mean, look at even the 2009 and 10 Jets. I mean, shit, man, we had the number 1 rushing attack in the NFL. We had, Thomas Jones and then LaDainian Tomlinson and Sean Green. We had a tight end like Dustin Keller, who was very, very good, man. We had Braylon Edwards, Santonio Holmes, Jericho Cotchery, Brad Smith, the number 1 offensive line in the NFL. And we still couldn't generate a consistently powerful offense. We couldn't do it, right? Because of the quarterback. Now, it was good enough, but not good enough at the end of the day. So the Jets have that plight that we can't find a quarterback. The Chargers, very interestingly, in the very similar way, guys, no matter who it is, they were in San Diego, now they're in LA, so that didn't help. You can change the coaches, you can change the quarterbacks, you can change the players. Whatever the reason is, that franchise struggles to win a playoff game, man. Now they have once over there, but like those guys, they've had the best offense, the best team in the NFL numerous times, and they lose in their first playoff game. So they did it again. Now, whose fault is that? Well, the Chargers are saying it's Joe Lombardi. Now, I didn't dig into it to such a degree that I can confidently say, oh my God, Joe Lombardi was completely misusing Herbert or what have you. I know that they disappointed for sure. But again, in the same way that the Jets went and fired Mike LaFleur, is it really Joe Lombardi? Is it? I mean, I don't know. You guys can tell me. That said, I think, firing guys that were just fired at the position that we're hiring for, I mean, it's not that can't work, right? Sometimes a fit is just a fit, and sometimes guys are just fall guys. But I don't know, man. I think there is an opportunity right now to grab a guy, whether that's Greg Olson or whether that's Bevel, that are kind of rolling. They're smooth right now. You're hiring them for a higher position. You're giving them control of the offense, as opposed to a guy that was just fired for lackluster performance and bringing him over to run it. So I don't know. I don't think I necessarily have interest in him. I think the Jets may, though. The Jets may. At least he's done it. You know what I mean? You can learn from past mistakes and all that jazz. So let's see. John Hepburn says, we nailed the draft the last 2 years, so I don't want to trade that talent away. Right. Jets Forever says, this tackle class is poor from top down. No tackle in this class worth a draft pick. I don't even know why I put your comments up there sometimes. There's no tackle that's draft worthy. What is this madness? I like to trade up for the best tackle, says Giyu. Okay. Broderick Jones, right, from Georgia. He's nice. Now, so the question would be with a trade like this, guys, is whether or not you feel that the tackle that will slide to you is going to be as good or better than the guy that's taken above you. I mean, look at last year. Just because a guy is taken doesn't mean he's the best player, right? We saw the Houston Texans take Derek Stingley with the 3rd overall pick, and we saw our general manager, when they picked Derek Stingley, he literally spun in his chair. He spun in his chair. Why? Because the guy taken before their pick was the guy that they didn't want. They thought the next guy was better, and they were concerned that they were going to take Sauce. Look, they had the position right. Steve232 says, no trade up for an offensive tackle. Trade down, not a real blue chip draft. That's a good point. I think Jets Forever, if he wasn't such an extreme guy, that's kind of what he's saying, I think. Rise of the New York Jets. No, because there are at least 2 comparable options to Paris Johnson. Why give up draft capital when Paris Johnson is really no upgrade over the other offensive tackles? And that, Rise of the New York Jets, is the question. And you got to play it smart. Just because he's the highest rated doesn't mean he's the best player. Just because people have him on their draft boards as going first doesn't mean he's the best player. The good thing about our staff right now, our personnel staff, and you look over the past 2 drafts, even the first draft, I thought it was very smart. The positions they went for by and large, so we got injuries and all that kind of stuff, but that is what it is. But you look over, since they've been drafting for Robert Saleh the last 2 years, we're really showing an ability to find talent throughout the draft, which gives you the idea that they're doing their homework, right? They're not buying into reports. They're not buying into what anybody else is saying. They're doing their own, digging and their own due diligence and all that sort of stuff. So that would be interesting to learn what it is that they're seeing with the offensive tackles. I do think that's going to be our first pick. I do think so. Matt O'Leary checking in about Mike Lombardi, or whatever his first name is. Lombardi tried to turn Herbert into a check down guy. Look at Herbert's passing chart from the playoff game. It's criminal. Now, we're sure that was the design, though, or was Herbert just having a day where he wasn't able to find his guys? I don't know. I'll trust O'Leary on that one. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe Herbert was just not seeing it. The game was moving fast. That happens too. Look, Herbert came out of the box like lightning in a bottle, man. He was just, he came out. Everybody, oh my God, look at this. But he's since settled. He's still very good, but he's kind of settling into reality. Looks like. Remember, Tua came out of the box looking like a complete piece of garbage, and he was in the MVP conversation this year. It wasn't for the concussions. Who knows what the Dolphins would have did? I mean, look, they just took the Buffalo Bills to the wire, man. Dave Gerard. What's up, David? David, the most recent winner of our Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. He has received the package. The Eagle has landed. So Manscaped really taking it. I just told them who won, and they jumped right on it, man. I'm impressed by how fast they sent that to you. Rodgers for a second or third. Grab Bakhtari and Lazard in free agency. Trade back from 13. Let me say this. In the event that the Packers want to move on from Aaron Rodgers, let's say that they really do. They want to move on from Aaron Rodgers, and they're going to go with Jordan Love. And they're going to trade him. Now, his contract is so wacky that it's really prohibitive for them to trade him. I mean, they all sorts of crazy dead caps, so they're going to have to get creative. Now, it's not a no trade clause, but he can just say he could be resistant to any adjustments and amendments to the contract, which would make it very, very hard for them to do anything. Right? Like a $99 million dead cap and stuff like that. So let's say he works with them and says, yeah, I'll go to the Jets. I like Garrett Wilson. I like Elijah Moore. I'll help Zach. You know what I mean? The whole thing. We get an offensive coordinator that he respects. Let's say that happens. What are the Packers going to require? Now, for them, it could really be the most important thing could be about the relief in cap. Because even without, I mean, he's 40 something million dollars to play. So they immediately lose that. So they gain, or not lose it, but they gain it, they gain that 40 something million dollars, and then all that dead cap stuff is gone too. So that could be valuable enough that they only do need a second or third. I don't think that's real. Now you can use the Brett Favre example as a gauge. We only traded a third for Brett Favre with accelerators. If certain things happened, he could have, could have went up to a first, and that's if he won the Super Bowl, they could have got a first. Great. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's a different NFL. And I think there will definitely be more than one team interested in Aaron Rodgers. It's not like the Jets are going to be the only team like, hey, man, here's a third. I think that teams will be negotiating, and I find it hard to believe that teams won't offer a first. Who wouldn't offer a first for Aaron Rodgers? If you like Aaron Rodgers and you want to bring him in, he's not worth a first to you? He's a numerous MVP, Super Bowl champion. I don't know. Let's see. So I don't know. I would be interested. Look, if you can get Aaron Rodgers for a third and then you figure out the money piece, it's still less than the 50 million. Now you're not getting a young player like Lamar Jackson. So there's all that, but I don't know. Well, listen, Nets talk. That's the thing. He's not alone. David Gerard and what he said, he's not alone. That's what people are talking about. They're talking about because of the money aspect and the length of time that he might have left. We're talking 2-3 years, maybe. That's what people are saying. Second, third. But I'm with you. I tend to think that it's going to be more, but he's not delusional. That's kind of the going talk out there, is that a second or third might do it. I don't know. Luke Morrell, if the Becton hype is true and he's under 300, he's not under 300 pounds. There's no way. And AVT comes back fully healthy. We draft 2 more offensive linemen. We could legit could have a top 5 line in the NFL. Yeah. Well, he's not under 300 pounds. There's just no way. 330. You know what I mean? Like Mekhi Becton, that would be 70 pounds less. If he is, dude, amazing job. I think Mekhi Becton would be, if he could get down to the 340s, 330s, and consistently play, I think that would bode really well for him. But again, like we've talked about, Luke, I'm still a believer in Mekhi Becton, right? I have no questions about his talent. I mean, that's not, for me, it's not in question. He was dominant, dude. He was scary good. He looked like he could be among the elite left tackles in the NFL for years to come. That's what he looked like. And he was nasty. You know what I mean? Mean. Gave the line that identity, like we're going to crush you and roll you, those kinds of things. The problem is, man, he's played 3/4 of football in 2 years. Actually, over 2 years, because he missed the final 2 games of his rookie season. So he's missed, what's that, 17, that's 34. He's missed 36 games in the last 3 years. That's a lot. So I just don't know if they can count on him. I would definitely be bringing in at least one premium left tackle, and then maybe you can re-sign Fant for cheap. I mean, I don't know. You keep Dwayne Brown. I don't know. I mean, you have Max Mitchell, but you got to have something else there. I like Max Mitchell a lot, but you got to have something else there. He's been injured too. So we got to be real careful. But the possibility is there. I know he might be under 400 pounds. Well, I never believed that he was over 400 anyway. That was never confirmed. It was just people talking. 400's a lot. They said that he was what did they say? He was like 400. I forget what it was, but they were saying all sorts of fun stuff. But yeah, the Packers are an interesting one because let's say they choose Aaron Rodgers. Jordan Love wants out, and rightfully so. He's a first-round pick quarterback. They traded up to get him. So there was some desire by teams to grab him. They were afraid, and they had Aaron Rodgers, and they were afraid somebody was going to take him. They traded up. Let me see what they gave up for him. Let me see something. Jordan. Let's see what they gave up. Let's see what they do. They traded up. They swapped their 30th pick for the 26th, and they gave up a 4th rounder. Okay, so they didn't give up too much or anything like that. So it wasn't like the huge trade, but still, they gave up an additional 4th, and they used their 1st on a quarterback, and he's been sitting there. So for Jordan Love, you think, hey, man, I'd like to actually have a career. I've been a good boy. That was 3 years ago, man. You know what I mean? So he's been sitting there simmering on the back burner for 3 years. He wants a career. So he's saying, hey, man, you want to keep Aaron Rodgers? Get rid of me. If you don't, then I'm ready to play. One or the other. I'm not sitting as a backup quietly again. And I think it's about time for him to do that. I don't think that's hard to understand, right? So yeah, but so anyway, with Jordan Love, now you got a question. Would you want Jordan Love? What if they're willing to give him for a second? You know what I mean? You just throw a second out there. I mean, what do you think, Jordan Love? He's literally been sitting. He's a first-round talent. He's been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years with Matt LaFleur, right? So, I mean, he's a well-thought-of offensive mind. His little brother didn't work out here, but he's literally been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. I mean, people are saying part of the reason to want Aaron Rodgers because of what he'll be able to do with Zach. So Jordan Love just has 3 years of that. Would you do that? That might be the more attractive thing. I mean, he's only going into his 4th year. Oh, people are saying people are racist. And who's talking about race in here? Who is it? I can't stand that stuff, man. If we're going to talk about that, I want you out of here. All right? Like, please, I can't see it, but I see it happening, but I'm just telling you, I don't play with it. All right? Any of that stuff, political, you can do that in 1,000 other places. Don't do it here. If you're going to do it, I'm just going to get you out of here. I don't want it. Okay? You can do it anywhere else you want, not here. All right? Thank you. I appreciate your support. So Harry, talking about Max Mitchell, Harry is saying, well, he has blood clots, so it's not really an injury. But the thing is, he was injured before that, Harry. Excuse me. He was injured before that. So what was it, a knee or an ankle? I forget. So I mean, he'll be fine, of course. I think it's not like that was an injury that's going to take him out forever. I think it was what is it, ankle sprain or something? I forget. So Drew Pacabra wants to know how many chances Joe Douglas should get trying to build this O-line. He might be incompetent. I don't know. I disagree. I mean, I think Joe Douglas has used more resources into the offensive line than the past 5 general managers combined. Injuries are injuries, man. You know what I mean? It happens. The idea that we had most of our injuries were located on the offensive line, like most of this team's injuries were on the offensive line. That's an amazing situation. Very, very unlikely situation. Look, he's used 2 first-round picks in his first 3 years. He's used 2 fourth-round picks in the last 3 years. You know what I mean? So he's doing pipeline. He's doing the premium guys. He's going out there. He's signing. I mean, who didn't think Laken Tomlinson was a slam dunk last year? I know all of us did. There was nobody here saying Laken Tomlinson's a bad pick. He was a Pro Bowler. He came from this organization. Like the whole thing. It was a million reasons why he was perfect. Comes in and he sucks. So what are you going to do? I think Joe Douglas is doing fine. If he didn't have the injuries, let's say Fant was never injured. Becton wasn't injured. You can even throw Becton in. But let's say AVT and Fant weren't injured. It's a totally different year. Totally different season. So I don't know. I mean, look, you can say it. I mean, look, the at the bottom line is that the offensive line is still not there. So you can say that. You have it. But again, I'm one who likes the reasons. I don't look at box score and keep it alone, right? I like to look at the whole thing if I can. And when I look at that, there's very, very legitimate reasons. I mean, look, if you honestly, I could return the argument and say, with all those injuries, Joe Douglas has done an exceptional job keeping the offensive line at least middle of the road. Dude, we were never the worst line in the NFL this year. Never. And that's with all those injuries. Think about that. Think of what he was able to do. He went out there and got Remmers and Abuye, from in the mid-season, man. Mid-season, and he's putting them in there, and they're playing well. Then they get injured, and this guy comes back. What was going on was quite amazing. Never, not once, as bad as everything was for the offensive line with the injuries, never was this as bad as any Mike Maccagnan offensive line. It's crazy. It's crazy. Is that true, Indy? It wasn't. I know it was different than the Vinny Curry. Like, I know it's a different situation, but Indy's saying that he has the same type blood clots that Chris Bosh had that made him retire from the NBA. Well, that's not good. I'm not going to pretend to know, one way or the other what that is, but if it is the same, that's concerning. That's concerning. You can say that now, Drew Pacabra, but I mean, look, this is the thing with you guys. Like, I don't understand. Like, he was one of the best offensive tackles in the NFL in 2021. He was among the best. So he had this year where we moved him around and he got injured twice. I mean, what are you going to do? He's not awful. He had a really good season as the right tackle in 2020. And then he had an elite season as a left tackle. And then he had an injured season last year. Now he's a bum. You know what I mean? I don't know. Let's see. I know JD's our foundation. I mean, look, hindsight is an interesting thing to use, but I think, again, when you look at the wisdom behind a lot of the moves, if you can't see it, then I don't know. Then you're looking at the wrong side. I don't know. You know what I mean? I can't help certain people. Like, we can't have these arguments. If you stand on one side and no information is going to be accepted to start considering, like, I listen, right? I try to listen and go, well, that's interesting. And I consider things and I can alter my argument or even switch opinions. But I see that there's a lot of that doesn't happen out there. So you can't have these conversations. You know what I mean? So Jordan Love, Sam Howell, Levis, Hooker with White is the only quarterback room I want to build. I want to build it right. I don't know, Joe. I don't know. See, Jordan Love's interesting, though. I mean, he's a complete unknown, right? A complete unknown. Superfan wants Derek Carr. Yeah. I mean, look, if I'm going to be completely straight with you guys, and I think I am, Derek Carr is my number one choice. Number one choice. People are going to bring out he lost 7 games in 9 years when it was cold. Who cares? Well, it's the most ridiculous argument I've ever heard. The most ridiculous. That is the weakest argument I've ever heard. What else is there? What other argument is there? As far as what he's contributed to his teams, it's not in question. You could not like the guy. I mean, there are people out there, like one of my bugaboos with Derek Carr is he seems like he could be soft at times. That's a concern. That's a concern. You know what I mean? Jingle Dubs likes when I put naysayers in their place. Well, I don't want to put anybody in their place, Jingle Dubs. I just think we got to have a conversation that includes everything. That's my whole thing. Let's just include it all and then see where we stand. Like if you include like the Zach stuff, right? Let's look at the Zach stuff. I think everybody here would love for Zach Wilson to be a success. I don't think anybody wants him to fail. Maybe a few ridiculous people out there, but everybody wants him to succeed. But when you look at everything consistently for 2 years of the same, when you can look at that and still land on he's a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson, then there's no talking to that person. They're not listening. You know what I mean? So you can't have those conversations. You can't. You can, but they're not going to go anywhere. It's called spinning your wheels. Kenya Sawyer wants Nick Mangold for the O-line coach. Now, wouldn't that be in a perfect world? It would be delightful. Wouldn't you love to have Nick Mangold back with the Jets? And you have all indications that he was a great center, so he could probably teach, but we don't know. But let's just think about it through, and let's say that Nick Mangold is here for 2 years and he doesn't really know how to communicate and teach, and the offensive line erodes and we look lost. What happens then? Do we still love Nick Mangold? Or do people start saying, you suck, and we ruin this beautiful thing that we have with one of our greats? So I don't know. I mean, if he can teach, great. I would love it. But I don't know. You got to think about what if it goes south? TL Indy, he's saying Bosch did have blood clots, but he was already older in his career, therefore he retired. So maybe maybe at that point in his career, it wasn't, that issue was, motivating to leave. Now, Max Mitchell, as we know, is going into his second year. He's a young player. So, could be a factor as well. Who wanted him to fail? Jets forever. See, this is where I think, I don't know. I don't know what you stand on. See, now Drew Pacabra wants Ryan Fitzpatrick for quarterback coach. Now, this is whatever arguments that you have, you lose credibility right here. Why? What has Ryan Fitzpatrick ever done to lead you to believe he's a quarterback coach, other than to say he's actually said publicly, my job isn't to coach the young quarterbacks. He's actually said that. Now, maybe it's not his job, but it's kind of dicky. You know what I mean? You're the vet. You're supposed to, like, the thought is that the vet on the team is kind of going to be a good influence for the younger guys. It's kind of the cycle. That's what you want. Ryan Fitzpatrick, what leads you to believe he's going to be a good coach? What has he done? I don't know. Chode, what's up, Chode? I wanted Zach to succeed hard. Now I'm upset because I can't be. Oh, there you go. I don't want to say that. Hold on. Oh, no. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I saved the day. Okay. Mangold knows how to teach. Well, how do we know that, Steve? That's my only question. Believe me, I'm not saying I don't want man. I love Nick Mangold. The idea is really attractive to me, but how do we know that? It's a theory. We don't know if Mangold has ever taught a thing in his life. We don't know. We just like the idea, right? And I do love it. We talk about Chad being a quarterback coach. Now, Chad, I would love the idea of Chad and Nick Mangold coming back. Wouldn't that be just beautiful? And Chad, though, he's coached now at a high school level, but he's coached at least, right? He's actually built that high school program that his son went to school. He started it from scratch and built the whole program. And Zach has for a long time been kind of touted as this super smart, cerebral quarterback who, detail oriented, all those kinds of things. So maybe, but again, we don't know if Chad can come here. He have a little bit more than Nick Mangold, but these guys might come in here and not be very good. And then we taint the whole thing. You know what I mean? We taint the whole thing, man. And I know Jets fans, it doesn't matter how great you are. If you do something bad, we're throwing shit at you. You know what I mean? We're a rough crowd, guys. John, thank you, John. He says, GreenBean, you're the man. F the haters. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? F the haters. F them. Right where they eat their eggs. You see, dear Drupacom, this is factually inaccurate. If you can call back to the disagreement that we had last year, if you bring the actual facts, we can have that discussion, but that is incorrect. That is actually way off. But that's what people, sir, that's the ridiculousness that you have to bring out to try to state your argument. It's like, just say the truth. Say the truth, and you can actually have a point to say I'm wrong, but this is ridiculous. Don't forget, my whole thing in last year's draft was the receiver class was such that you didn't need to use a first-round pick on a wide receiver. Said hundreds of times, if they do, I hope it's Garrett Wilson, but I wouldn't take a wide receiver in the first. So what I would have done, my draft would have been Kayvon Thibodeau, Devin Lloyd, and George Pickens. That would have been my draft. Now, I'm very, very happy with the draft that the Jets had. You know what I mean? Sauce is unbelievable. Garrett Wilson's best receiver we've had in forever. But would you be complaining with my draft? No. You know what I mean? No. But you got to try to bring out the ridiculousness. Mangold can teach Jets pride. Yeah, well, that's something. The good news about this whole team is that whatever you say about the collapse, which is terrible, the truth is that this team, we've seen something in this team this season that we have not seen in New York Jets teams in forever, not even the 2009 and 2010 Jets. We saw a team that played till the end. Till the very end of the game. And look, we happened to win games because of that earlier on. But this team, a completely different mindset. And again, if we had a quarterback, I am firmly behind the idea. With a quarterback that could have hit 65%, we're in the playoffs. And we're not even having this conversation. Look at how many games. We lost 6 games by 1 score, guys. 6. They had 3 games where the offense didn't even score a touchdown. And we lost those. We had numerous games it was 1 touchdown or less. Right? So, I mean, we lost those games. So, again, the good news for me is that even though I'm just as disappointed as anybody else, just trying, as anybody else, and I hate to defend a collapse like that. But the truth is it's completely different. You can look at this team and you can honestly say the character, the culture is completely different than it has been in forever. The last time we had a good culture was the first 2 or 3 years of Rex Ryan, but that eroded very, very fast. And again, there were games where they came out and they were completely flat numerous times. Now, that happened last year many times, 45-3 or whatever the hell it was. We didn't have one blowout all year. Cho, you didn't get me in trouble, Chode. Thank you, buddy. You never get me. Nobody gets me in trouble. But thank you. I appreciate the super chat. Again, look, man, my stuff is out there. This is what I'll tell you. I'm up here right now. This is recorded. You can go back and you can, if you really want to, you can pull out all my words. I'm happy to show you guys clips where I was wrong. I don't care. You know what I mean? This is what I know. Number one, I say what I mean, right? I say what I mean. Number two, I can change my mind. Just because I said something last week and now I have new information doesn't mean I have to agree with that. I don't. People seem to think that, oh, you're wishy-washy or you're contradicting. Disagree. We live in a world where you have to believe, like, if you're not this, you're this. That's complete horseshit. The other thing is this. I have no issue with being wrong. I don't take that person. I'm wrong all the time. But the final point is this, Chode and everybody else. This is my final point. When I look over the last 10 years of who I would have drafted and the coaches I would have hired and the general managers that I wanted to bring on, if we would have done those things, just stuck to GreenBean's philosophy, my picks, we would have numerous Super Bowls. Numerous. I mean, lots of guys that we've picked, I wouldn't have touched them. Sad to say, that includes Zach Wilson. I wouldn't have picked Zach. And you guys know that. I wasn't an anti, but I didn't want Zach Wilson. I didn't see it. Good Citizen says, right, man, I called out Breezy and didn't even take credit for it. Right. See, man. Yeah, who doesn't, man? Devin Lloyd is a stud muffin. Let me see. I haven't paid attention now where he was the last few weeks. Let me see. Let's see what Devin Lloyd did. Let me just take a look here and see what Devin Lloyd did. 115 tackles, 59 solo. It's pretty damn good. You know what I mean? I'll take that. Very, very good. You know what I mean? Again, look, like, here's the thing. You guys know I liked Kyle Hamilton too. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing. It's like, just because this player's good and that one's not, it doesn't mean anything. Like, there's tons of good players in the draft. I'm very happy with our draft. Very, very happy. Now, where I was pissed, guys, where I was really upset was that when we used our fourth and 10th picks and we didn't get an edge rusher, I was distraught. I couldn't believe that once again, the New York Jets for 20-something years have figured out a way not to draft, a reason why we don't need to take the most valuable position on the defense. For some reason, Jets just never see the reason to do that. And here we were again. I was blown away. I couldn't believe it, especially when there were so many strong guys up top. There were still two of them that I liked a whole bunch. One was Jermaine Johnson. One was George Karlaftis. And Thibodeau. There were three of them still there. The only one that I liked that was gone was Aiden Hutchinson. Trayvon Walker was like my sixth. You know what I mean? So it's like that killed me. And it showed in my reactions, right? It showed in my reactions, man. I was like, I couldn't believe it. As much as I liked Garrett Wilson, as much as I liked Sauce as a player, I couldn't believe it. And then when we traded up and got Jermaine Johnson at 26, everything fell together, and I couldn't believe that he was still there. I couldn't believe that that's where we got him. And we only gave up essentially what, a fifth and change or something. We swapped thirds or whatever the hell it was. I was happy, man. Happy. R&R says, my wife and I are so grateful to have you and the other fellow YouTubers for the off season. Thank you. You rock. Yeah, right on, man. And this is going to be a fun off season, guys. It's different. Like, remember, like the last few years, we could literally go into the draft and say we could take every position except for this and this, right? I do not feel that way right now. If the Jets took a cornerback up top, wouldn't you be disappointed? I would. If the Jets took a running back in the first, I'd be disappointed. If the Jets took a wide receiver up top, I'd be disappointed. We have talent on this team, man. And I would also be disappointed with quarterback. Even though we don't have one, I still don't want another kid. I just don't, dudes. I couldn't handle it. Man. Sofa King, huge erection. I wonder if there's a double entendre there. Love the show, GreenBean. Well, thank you, so fucking huge erection. Hey, man, name's a name. I didn't name him. I hope that we continue to have good times together. Gitmo Bob, a number of games Zach Wilson led the Jets to wins or late leads. Why does that get dismissed for his poor performance? Well, probably because you're literally talking about one game where he did that, and there was 12 more where he was like the reason that we lost. You know what I mean? That's probably why, Bob. I think a lot of us are willing to give Zach the credit that he deserves. Like, he didn't win the Buffalo game. He didn't lose the Buffalo game. He played efficiently, but 146 yards. I mean, that's, we're fortunate to win with that kind of quarterback performance, but he didn't throw any picks and he didn't make any real bad decisions. Remember, that was following the week where he was running all over the place like a crazy man and 3 interceptions to New England. So I think that's what it is. I mean, like, if we just stop being on one side, Bob, you just look at it and go, his negatives far outweighed his positives this year. The positives were so infrequent that they're hard to hang your hat on. It's that simple. And I think if we're looking at it objectively, we'll agree. That's just it. Let's see here. Yeah, M. Morris. It's funny. Now, I didn't think the Jets would do it. I thought it was a long shot. I did. And let me tell you this, when they traded up in the second, I thought there was no way. I thought it was going to be for Nakobe Dean. That's what I thought. And look what it was. It was Breece Hall. If that guy didn't get injured, man, you know what I mean? It's like, what are we if that guy doesn't get injured? You know what I mean? Who knows? I think Zach Wilson won 1 game without Breece Hall. 1. And the Jets only won 2, 3 without him. That guy was important. Mike Saunders says he's still on Mike White. If we can make every excuse for Lamar Jackson's injuries, we can give Mike White a pass for playing with 5 broken ribs. I don't know, man. I think the difference, Mike, is that Lamar Jackson at least has had, even the past 2 injury-plagued seasons, he played 12 games not injured. Mike White's never done that. Mike White's never played more than 1 game without getting hurt. That's the sad part about Mike White. Totally different. Let's see. Breece and Bam going to be unstoppable. Yeah, I think so. And look, thankfully, I mean, we have at least guys coming back, but the offensive line, shit, man. If we can actually have our guys stay healthy, and we didn't have, I didn't think we have 3 weeks with the same offensive line alignment all year. I don't think so. Maybe 3 was it. Think about that. Think about how hard that is to overcome when every time you turn around, another guy is going down. I mean, there's never been anything like it. I mean, we've had injuries on this team, but never all on one damn position, man. One unit. Like most of our injuries were right there. Think about it, man. We had LaMarcus Joyner got hurt a little bit. We had Corey Davis get hurt a little bit. You know what I mean? We had Quinnen went down for a game. We had Sheldon Rankins went down for 2 games. But by and large, the injuries on our team, everything improved except for the offensive line. And again, still at no point were they the worst offensive line in the league. And that was our calling card. We were the bottom 2 or 3 O-lines for years. So again, you gotta if you don't want to look at that, I mean, that's the truth. That's the truth of it. If you don't like it, you want to say, oh, well, JD picked the wrong guys. They're all injury prone. Okay. That's not true either, but you could at least use that to support your argument. The idea that our O-line just sucks is a ridiculous argument, guys. It really is. So I'll tell you what, up for debate with Scoop, that's not the worst point. That's not the worst point. If we don't know, I mean, if Dable came here, especially if we hired him when we were interviewing him, right? If we hired him for, and he was here those 2 years, it could be a completely different story with Zach. Totally. What good does that do? Does that mean Zach doesn't suck? Now? You know what I mean? I don't know. Does that remove it? The fact that he literally can't hit a fucking screen pass? I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think it's more likely, while that's very possible, and that's a very good point, and I think that was supposed to be the Greg Knapp factor. Once we lost Knapp, the whole plan went out the window. But I think what's more likely is that when Zach was doing the Zach things, if Dable couldn't fix it, he would have pulled him a long time ago. That's what I think. But it's a point. It's a point. All right, 2 more. Good Citizen. What's up, Good Citizen? You called it being a month before the draft. You said, don't be surprised if we take running back in the 2nd round. I know, and everybody called me an idiot. I got called stupid, Good Citizen. That's why I don't like this guy. He's a moron. That's the stuff I had to endure. That's the stuff I have to endure. You guys are mean to me. All right. Justin Rivera says, A-Rod or Carr? Let's see. DMV Nation, Division of Motor Vehicle Nation. Gotta love somebody who's that passionate about the DMV. A lot of wishful speculation in the media. Y'all not getting Lamar. Who's y'all? Us? Y'all don't want Lamar. That's the thing you got to factor in. I don't know who y'all is. If you're not one of y'all, or if you are a y'all, but you've separated because you're not in this, I don't know. You got to clarify. I don't know who y'all is, but I'm not y'all. I don't want Lamar. So that'd be really good news. Thank you for stopping by, DMV. That's right. Phil Adams reminding everybody, let's hit that like button, guys. Don't forget to do that. I'm going to tell you again. I'm now like 22 people from 10,000. It's the weirdest thing. I got 2,000 subscribers in just over 2 months. And then this last hundo, I can't do it. It's the craziest thing. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Give me that little boost over 10,000. It means the world. You know what happens once I get to 10,000? There are companies out there, guys, that won't touch me because I'm not at 10,000. Like, seriously, they don't even consider, well, he's close. They just look at you. Nope. 10,000's our bottom. That's it. So it's like it opens doors and it helps me with pride. I hang out with O'Leary. He's got 14,000. Ryan's got 23,000. Jake Assman just passed 25,000. Richie's got 16,000. You got to help me, man. You got to help me out. So if you haven't done that, please do. It's a great idea to do it. And guys, let's not forget, right? There you go, DMV. So here's the thing we got to remember. Try to remember this as you forge forward into this Wednesday. We're all on the same team. Yes, we have different opinions. We're all on the same team. You're not a moron because you disagree with me. I'm not an idiot or an asshole because I don't like the same free agent you do. we should listen to each other. That's how we learn. You get not ulterior, but you get additional information by listening. And who knows, maybe this opinion that you have is not based in the most solid fact. Listen and carve your opinion, make it a live, living, breathing thing. Learn. Mike Bonnet, you'll be the last one. I think it is without question that the offensive coordinator needs to be here before the quarterback. It's not even up for debate. Not even up for debate. Now, if it turns out that you're still in the hiring process and you just can't get, you can get Derek Carr right now, like something like that, do it. And then that's your quarterback. But I think the fact that we don't have a quarterback, you want to bring the offensive coordinator in and let him be a part of the brain trust. What would work with your offense? If you were like, let's say it's Bevel, what's the best option for you? Let's work together. Which guy do you think would give you the highest chance to be successful here? That's it. You know what I mean? So, all right. Well, there you go. There you go. Finally, up for debate with Scoop. You've been coming. I see you out there, man. Thanks for subbing. There you go, right? We're working. We're out here working. Again, we don't have to agree, guys. That's the thing. It's actually better when we don't. It's better that we have discussions when we don't agree with each other. That's the thing. It's like we take it as if it's a negative. It's not. I want you to have differing opinions so I can learn and listen. Maybe I didn't know that. And I'm thinking this, but I don't have that information. You see what I mean? Guys, I love you. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Don't forget about a couple things in the chat too, man, or in the description. Couple things. Number one, I still put that gas app saving, the gas money saving app in there upside. Dude, with gas price, even though they've gone down, they're still ridiculous. I'm not sponsored by that company or anything, but it's in the description. You just click the link, use my promo code. We each get an additional 15 cents off per gallon. Dude, I've saved thousands of dollars with that app. I'm not exaggerating. Now, granted, I was driving a lot, but I've saved thousands of dollars. I've had people literally call me or write to me after, say, dude, I can't believe it. That thing that you said is actually real. It's real. They give money back. Like, you use the app and you say, okay, which gas stations have it? This gas station is giving 10 cents off. That gas station is giving 12 cents off. You go to the one with 12 cents. You type in the app. It saves you money. I mean, you pay full price at the beginning, but then you stockpile money. When you want it, you take it. You get Amazon card. You can get it directly to your bank, whatever you want. You can get an Olive Garden card if you like, whatever. But that's the whole thing, man. So I do that. And the other thing is this. Liquid IV. It's still in there. There we go. Dude, I'm seeing this stuff everywhere. Now, again, there we go. All right, can you see? It's so glary. You can save 20% on Liquid IV by using my promo code GreenBean Jetsfan. It's in the description. Dude, this is the best stuff out there. The Gatorade and all that, dude, that's old. That's old news. This is the stuff. Hydration multiplier. You can save 20% by using my promo code. And why wouldn't you do that? It's a great product and you're going to use it anyway. Like, why go to Whole Foods? Dude, that shit. Each packet, I was in Whole Foods. $3.80, dude, for one of these. Why is it so glary? I can't see anything. Can't see. So glary. Everything's so bright. Let me see. Let me see. I got more lights. You see it? No, I can't see anything. Everything's super glary. It's crazy. Anyway, you can save 20%, guys. And as always, you can save 20% on Manscaped products by using my promo code as well. Now, let me do that. Come on, guys. I'm trying to get out of here. My mouse is being crazy. Let's see what we got here. All right, you guys are the best. I want to thank you for a great stream. I'm telling you, man, I can't wait to get my computer back, guys. You guys don't realize how difficult it is without my computer. This is a whole different world. Let's do this one. What is that? I don't even know what this clip is. Let's do this clip. Guys, have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. And they're getting on us for booing Zach Wilson after his third pick, whatever it was. Dude, screw you, okay?
We'll do what we want to do, number one. Number two, he needs to know we're not okay with it. If his skin is so thin that he can't deal with that, then we have bigger problems. And we're all supporting Zach Wilson. You want to check out how we were? Listen to when his name was called when he ran into the stadium. It was by far the loudest. It was loud. We told him, we're with you. We love you. We got you. We want you here. We're rooting for you. 3 picks later, dude, we're not happy with you. I'm sorry. If you're one of those Jets fans going to our players' pages and ripping them, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to say it. You're an asshole. I just want to tell you that. You might not know you're an asshole, but you are. I'm going to tell you, you are an asshole. Now, having issues with players, never a problem. You can feel any way that you want. But going to our own players' page and calling them names, fat, you're a bust, whatever it is, dude, that is absolutely outside of the normal paradigm of being a fan. You should not be doing that. You are an asshole. Okay? I'm not going to waver from that stance. That's where I stand. You're an asshole and you shouldn't be doing that.